All right, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to measure the refractive index of both the pure cyclohexane, the pure toluene, and then our first two fractions. I mean, our first fraction and our last fraction. So let me tell you a little bit first about refractive index. We've already, let's see, let me get my camera to go down there. Okay, so this is the best I can do here. I wish I could show you inside this instrument, but I can't, so I'll just do the best that I can. So every compound has its own refractive index, and it's a measurement of how light moves through it. So if you've ever seen this before, where you put a spoon in water and you see that it looks funny, like there's an angle. Well, that's because the refractive index of water and the refractive index of air are very different. And so what happens is when the light hits the water, it goes at a different angle. It slows down, and so it goes at a different angle. So they're shifted or refractive. So what's being measured is this angle of refraction. So how does the angle change when it hits the new surface? So this is an instrument. I'll show you the picture of it here. It's in that book that's posted on Canvas, but here's the real instrument. Ta-da. See if I can move this back a little bit. And so how it works, there's the light. See if I can do it a little bit differently, and see if I can push that back so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. All right, so this light comes down and this opens up, and it's got this sort of a glass prism, ground glass prism here and here. So you want to make sure that it's clean. And so I'm going to wipe it with some Kim tissues. Now you can actually, there's these little tubes here where you can actually flow water of a particular temperature through it, because refractive index does depend on temperature. We're not that worried about it, so we're just going to do it at room temperature. So I'm squirting some of my cyclohexane, and then I'm closing that up. And so now what's happening when I put that up, the light is shining through it. And so this instrument's measuring the angle of refraction. Now I look in this eyepiece, and I wish the camera, let's see. I'm going to see if it works. I don't think it's going to work, but let's see if I can. Nah, it's not going to work. When I look in there, what I see is something like this. So I'll show you the picture of it. It actually looks prettier than this because it's colored. And so what I see is a circle with crosshairs in it, and I see a black line. So when I move this, there's a knob here. Let's see if I can find what I'm trying to show you. Oops, sorry. This is called Cinematography 101. So there's a knob here that I can turn, and what that does is, if I show you this picture again, what that does is it raises or lowers this. And what I want it to do is go straight exactly through the crosshair, so just like that. So when I do that, then the next thing I do, so I'm going to look through there, and there's little knobs where you can zoom in and out to make it focus a little bit better. All right, and then when I do that, there's a little switch over here on the left that I push down. The light goes out, and I can actually see the scale. And the scale looks something like this. And so what I want to do is read the number exactly where the crosshairs meet. So all these little numbers will pop up on the scale, and I'll read where the crosshairs meet. So let me do that for cyclohexane. It's kind of rainbowy when you look in it. It's hard to see in black and white. So, all right, so when I put this down, I get a measurement of 1, and you can read a lot of decimal places, but I'll do 4 decimal places. 1.42, 1.425, 1.55. Let me see if I can get that any better. Yeah, 1.4255. So that's the refractive index of the cyclohexane. You can look up the literature value for the refractive index. I think it's real close to that. I think it's 1.426. So we're pretty close to that. I'm going to do the same thing for the toluene, and I'll give you that value. And then I'll do the same thing. Let's do toluene next. Okay, so I've put the toluene in here, and I've got it adjusted. And if I look at that one, it's 1.4954. 1.4954. I think that's a little bit closer to the literature value. So my cyclohexane may be just a little bit contaminated, or the temperature might have been a little bit off, but it's close. So now I'm going to measure my first fraction and then my third fraction.